The player character is this dude. Unlike some other games where you can choose a male or female player character, there's only one player character for Fellow Moon. When they talk, you can actually hear two voices overlapping each other. The game starts with us in a white room with no memories. We end up having a brief phone call with May here, who we end up finding out is the director's secretary for that organization that we are affiliated with. This word. Honestly, I don't know what this word would translate into English, but it's something along the lines of a Bureau for Paranormal Affairs. Anyways, we leave the room where we find our teammates, which we were apparently the team leader for. Our team was called the Orange Blade team. There's even an orange that you can fight in the game as well. Our team members are these four bozos. Honestly, you probably don't need to know their names, they aren't really focused on much in the main story. As we go through the prologue, we encounter the strong as heck enemy, get saved by Miss May, and encounter other employees from our organization. However, we end up getting framed that apparently our team committed treason and attacked them. As a result, this doofus here, Deputy Director Ivan, and his goons starts blasting us. But we get saved by Thomas, who we end up having to fight anyways, and we were able to escape safely into a secret base provided by May. May and this dude, the founder and chief director of the Bureau for Paranormal Affairs, Tesla. Though later on he gets impeached by Ivan, the dude that was blasting us. But we're somewhat sick. As a result, we go into the town of Nanting, where the majority of the story takes place in, to find a shady craftsman that can help with our sickness. And totally not by force, as we defeat random hooligans and even the craftsman herself, acquiring her for our team. Having stabilized our condition for the time being, we are tasked to meet a friend of Tesla's, supposedly to establish rapport and acquire resources. We end up meeting the big boss of the city, the boss of Trin Hall, which is a group that basically has the most influence in the city. He tasked us to help him deal with this construction site where there seems to be some paranormal activities going on. Oh, and he also asked us to help watch over his rebellious daughter, who has a pretty strong bodyguard. We end up finding these humanoid monsters and discover that they appear to be once human, like paranormal zombies almost. The chapter ends with Tesla tasking us to investigate the secrets of the city and the Trin Hall. The second chapter starts with some small backstory of this guy who comes to join our team. Some lore that I will not be talking about because he barely shows up again for the rest of the story. Nonetheless, thanks to some intel, we learned that a certain group may be behind these zombies. We tracked down one of the big names of this group, and with the help of this dingus and their group, we were able to take them down. Anyways, by capturing one of their important members, we basically declared war against their group. And apparently we ordered same-day shipping because the big boss pops up in the next chapter, reveals his necromancy skills, and clashes with us. After successfully beating the big boss, this dude shows up with dynamite strapped around him. He goes on this speech on how he'll sacrifice himself so that the boss can escape. He gives a heartfelt speech along the lines of, "Even if I die like this, you can always summon me back as a zombie. It will be as if I've never left your side." And the boss successfully escapes. Not gonna lie, at this point I thought this guy was gonna be my favorite character. But then we go, "Hey dude, it's raining. The dynamite's ain't even lit." And the absolute bozo looks down to confirm that fact, lowering his guard, and in a split second we capture him. This guy's a clown. Anyways, the chapter concludes as we return to base. We give a heartfelt speech on how we've lost our memories but will try our best to meet everyone's expectations, and came out with a new name for their group. Formerly the Orange Blade team, now they are New Moon. In chapter 3, we end up meeting the director of the Bureau of Paranormal Affairs of the Nanting branch. Although we are technically fugitives, they wanted to know if we would be a threat to them or not. So we have to speak our intentions and clear out our name to them. We don't do that. We just sit there and drink tea. The options that appear for the main character is to either drink tea or stay silent. The director, intimidated by our aura, yaps on and reveals that a special team from the General Affairs Department is coming to Nanting to cause trouble. After, we try to investigate the aftermath of the fight between Trin Hall and the villains, and we gain intel that the villain that escaped in the previous chapter obtained their necromancy skills from a cult called the Candlelight Cult. So we sniffed them down, beat them up, and everyone returned home safe and sound, including the enemies. Yeah, I don't know, man. The team from the General Affairs Department arrives and comes to Nanting and meets the Nanting branch's director. This dude is the team's leader. They talk about how they suspect the Orange Blade team, that's us by the way, may be somewhere in Nanting and more importantly, wishes to target the former chairman, Tesla. Later on, Tesla ends up meeting with the two big bosses of the Trin Hall where they yap about their past with one another and stuff. While talking, that team leader from earlier busts into the office and starts yapping up a storm. He pops off and starts hating on this guy, and especially this guy, summons a fetus and leaves. The fetus attacks the town and we go and deal with it. And with the help of Tesla, we were able to finally defeat it. Apparently Tesla created this fetus and was summoned to spite him, or to further undermine his position in the Bureau of Paranormal Affairs, as he had to sacrifice one of his valuable weapons to summon and defeat the fetus as fast as possible before there'd be more casualties. In chapter 5, we start off with receiving news from the daughter that there is an underground facility, where we learn that this bozo and his goons are performing experiments on people by fusing monsters with humans. Honestly, I don't have much to say about this chapter, it just has a lot of fighting. In the end, the daughter confronts the bozo, which is her uncle by the way, and not agreeing with his ideals unleashes an ult on the man and everyone lives happily ever after. Okay, so the bodyguard betrays the very person she was supposed to be protecting. We then learn about the bodyguard's past, how she owes some kind of debt to the uncle and was raised and trained by him and his goons, yada yada. We learn that the daughter is being held hostage, so we infiltrate their base, beat up some more goons, and confront the final boss of the game's story thus far.
一直以来，我都憧憬着远离大地，不用再思考和烦恼地上的那片世界，不用思考背负的过去和注定的未来，只要把自己送去自然的位置，出逃、下坠，奔赴注定的终点。身不由己的浮萍，无法改变的命运，终点就在此处。
We fight the bodyguard, which was pretty hard by the way. I had to level up my characters quite a bit before I was able to win. Then this cutscene plays. So we beat her up, and everyone returned home safe and sound. Yeah, with the power of friendship, everyone made up and lived happily ever after. As for what happened with this doofus, he got Thanos snapped by this lady, and other goons got worked by this random bozo, and the current story ends like that.